Hello gamers, this is Noobzilla. This live stream by Triumph Worlds is going over ArcheAge and some of the different features that you might not have heard about already, such as uploading your own photos and putting them on cloaks. As you can see, they have the ArcheAge symbol on the back of their cloak, and they can also put this in their house, as you'll see, and also the sails of their boat, which is pretty neat. It's going to go over item transfusions, which involves putting the stats of one item to the appearance of another item. It's going to go over different wardrobes and some different customization features where you can make your mark on ArcheAge. And nothing says legit live stream like a party, as you can see here, but even more so, we have a guy riding a cow, wearing a scuba outfit, playing a flute.
Hi guys!
Hi.
Sorry we're a couple minutes late here, but we are so excited to be able to show you what we have today. Today we are doing our third, I think, edition of Exploring ArcheAge, and we are going to be talking about making your mark. All of the different ways you can customize your appearance, customize the appearance of the house and the boat that you use, and really just kind of like check it out and make it really look like the character and the house that you want it to be. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Evan is not going to be able to join us today, so I have lovely Kendall joining us today. And so this is going to be a lot of fun. And let's switch over to the cam. Alrighty then. So we're going to start off today showing you guys a little bit about this thing called Fusion. Escapes is upstairs working. So on the Fusion pieces, which basically is a way for you to take the appearance of one item and turn it into another item. And you can use an item that you have gotten through questing if you like them. I got a really cute hat through questing that I love the look of. Or if you want to take a crafted item, like one of the crafted costumes or something, and turn that into an appearance item, you can totally do that. So we're going to start off with, which one?
Let's do the helm first. So
right, awesome.
Now this outfit has this really big helm, which you may love, but you may want to have these stats for, but the appearance is something else. For instance, this little bit more subtle headband. So what we're going to do is we're going to put both of them back in our inventory, go back here to this blacksmith, select the fusion ability. We're going to have the the stats of this heavy helm here, and the look of this headband, and it costs a little bit of this powder called Fusion Alembic.
So hold on one second.
All right.
So a couple things I want to point out here is that we are taking the look of a cloth item and we're putting it on a plate item. So one of the really cool things about ArcheAge and the way that PvP is handled in ArcheAge is that you've got to be really careful. Check for the buffs on the characters you're about to attack. They may not be wearing what you think they're wearing.
Right, certain builds are more or less effective against certain types of armor. So like me, with the trip build, I would hate to fight someone in leather, but this guy could be in leather and look like he's in plate. So you got to be careful about those buffs when you're trying to PvP someone. So let's combine these and demonstrate that.
Also want to point out that the different volumes of dust are required for different types of items. So as you experiment with the different items, it has to do with severity, whether they're crafted, or rarity, excuse me, whether they're crafted or not, and you'll have different volumes of dust.
So you can see this supposedly cloth headband is now actually a plate helm with all the stats and set bonuses that would entail.
Which is kind of cool. So you can really mix and match your appearance and see how you want. And one of the awesome things, I think, about this system in ArcheAge is that it's not just limited to the armor. Here we've got a weapon that we can go ahead and do the same thing to. It's a pretty awesome two-handed greatsword.
So for starters, we're going to start with this, which is already pretty cool looking, but let's say I want a different look, and I want to instead have the same stats, but on this awesome glowing sword here. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to the blacksmith. Stats of this weapon, look of that one. We use the same fusion material here, and craft ourselves whatever dream item we want. There we go.
So I saw a quick question. Can you undo the fusion? No, you cannot undo the fusion, but you can take an item that has already been fused and fuse it again. So if, for instance, we got a more awesome looking sword, which admittedly would be a little challenging to find, you can take this sword that has already been fused and give it a new appearance.
Additionally, you can keep this same appearance moving along. So if you find one thing you just love the look of, but you want to keep upgrading its stats, you can keep using this material to take that appearance and just scoot it along to each item as they improve over the course of the game.
Someone asked if ArcheAge takes its customization from our other game. This game is actually developed by somebody completely different from Tryon. It's developed by XL Games in Korea. And they came up with this system, which I think is absolutely amazing, on their own. And so it has nothing to do with what we have currently.
All right. So you want to try and do costumes
Let's do
next?
the costumes.
Okay.
So you guys may have seen us mention, and you've seen it in our Founders Packs, we have costumes in ArcheAge. And what they are, if you want to equip one and pull up your character real quick.
Sure. So let's start with these mage robes here.
You're pretty.
So this character, for instance, has sorcery as their first skill selected. It's just a GM character. But I want these stats, but on something a little bit more impressive, like, for instance, this silver wolf plate. So I can do the exact same thing because it's in the exact same slot. It's in this costume slot, as you can see. And so...
Yeah, so the costume slot is a separate slot. So it allows you to overlay additional stats onto all of the armor that you have. And there are crafted versions of all of the different costumes as well as purchased versions. We've been comparing the stats, and they're actually pretty well in line with each other. So the crafted ones look pretty sweet too, which is really nice. These are the crafted versions, by the way, that you're seeing here.
Right, both these you can create in the game. So you can see down at the bottom here, they have the equip effects, and they give you bonuses to your character, but they have a limited duration. So you will always have your costume, and you can always wear it, but the effects you get from them, for a large portion of them, go away after about a month. And you can actually renew that with a item called the... Sorry.
We just renamed it, so now we have to hunt for it. Did I not give you any?
No.
Okay, so there is an item.
The Rainmaker Cleaner, sorry,
the
there we go.
Rainmaker Cleaner
resets your costume.
And that item is going to be purchasable for in-game gold.
So let's just, in the meantime, make
While I
my
try to find
mage
this
look a little cooler. So I'm going to take this, which I want the appearance of. I'm going to use the fusion item to change it into an appearance item, which only takes a second. And then same deal, I can go ahead and get the stats of my cool mage cloak and the look of this plate, and I look exactly how I want to while still being an awesome mage.
And now you have some of the cleaner.
Ah, there we go. So let's put it on, and you can see that the timer's already started and it's going down as to how long I'll have these stats, and I could reset that by simply using this cleaner here, and it would reactivate the full month of its bonuses. Except I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
All right.
You have to do it when you're not actually wearing it. A couple of quick things I wanted to highlight here. The appearance items are slot for slot, so you have to use a headpiece for a headpiece, a body piece for a body piece, for example. That also goes for the weapons. A one-handed sword can look like another one-handed sword, but it cannot look like a two-handed axe, for instance. So you have to keep everything sort of in line with what type of item it is for when you're doing the appearance item. You can also, which is kind of fun, at least I think it's kind of fun. Now, you ran off. Where'd you go?
Oh, I'm by the blacksmith.
Oh, okay. Now I have to go down to the blacksmith because I'm not there. I don't know if you guys saw my character a little bit earlier, but I'm running down here. I am wearing a t-shirt. This is a crafted item, and you can go ahead and to make this item into, there I am, if you can get closer on me.
Of course.
There we go. So this is a crafted item with one of the crests that we are going to show you how to put on later. This item actually has stats because I used fusion and turned it into my armor. So you can run around in jeans and a t-shirt if you want to and be in full plate mail, or you can run around in full plate mail and be in an awesome suit of cloth armor. So it's really kind of cool. You get to be the character that you want to be.
So an important fact here is you can also make it so that your costume is not shown in the game settings. So if you really like the look of the armor you're wearing, but you still want to have the bonuses of a costume, you can have both without sacrificing the look you're going for.
So, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we are gathering a crowd.
We are. Do you want to do dies next?
Sure.
This man has died. Okay,
No,
let's
he
go
was
on.
feigning you that.
So, we're actually wearing a really good thing for showing dyes because we got this nice big cloak involved. So you can dye costumes only right now. And I'm going to show you, let's see. Let's go with...
I'll make it pink.
Navy. Nah, I'm not going to make it pink. All right, so these dyes are actually craftable. If you go to your portfolio, alchemy, and specialty dyes, these are the types of dyes you're using as right-click activatable items to dye costumes that you found or bought in the game.
So I do want to point out that currently for folks who are in alpha, there are 2 different kinds of dyes. We are renaming one of them. Make sure it says that you can use it on a costume.
Right, so the quote-unquote dyes that you're using while you craft things are actually going to be named pigments, and these activatable items that you use on costumes will be called dyes. So let's try this, and it's already navy. Let's try something a little bit different. Let's do the pink. Fine. All right.
Salmon works.
There we go.
There you
I
go.
am glorious.
One thing you'll notice is that right now the only items that you can dye are costumes. We're going to try to expand that, but I have no promises. Costumes are stackable with armor, so you can have costume and armor both on, and if you want to hide your costume, you can. So that should be, and now you're pink.
I
You're
am
pretty in
indeed.
pink.
All right, do you want to go up and do the crests?
Yeah.
Sweet.
So now we're going to show you the second part, which is really how to make the crest. That ArcheAge logo that I had on my t-shirt, which actually, ironically, I should have made this pattern on my shirt in-game. You can go ahead and make any image that you want. Please keep in mind that if it is trademarked, or if it is something, an image of something that will get you into jail, we will remove it. And possibly remove the item, not just the image.
Let me just set it so that I'm showing my cloak first here so you guys can get the full effect. All right, so this is a pretty standard black cloak, and we want to make it a little bit more interesting. So we...
You want to walk them through the whole thing, how to make the ink and everything?
Sure. So you're going to need a Crest brainstorm to make the pattern, and then making the individual ink stamps, which we'll use to put the pattern on something, uses memory ink.
And I do want to point out that this is going to change in future versions. The only thing that's changing is the names of the items, and the actual process isn't going to change.
So you come with a couple standard options. You can make yourself, you know, mix and match seal without having to get by your own Crest brainstorm. But you can also import.
You want to flip through there's 7 on the bottom one. Yeah, there's 7 different versions.
There's all sorts of different symbols and different patterns that you can mix and match. Lots of options here. But you can actually import your own image into your user-created content folder in the game, which we are going to do.
So someone asked if there is a limit on how complex the crests can be. No, as long as you make an image that is the right size, that looks like whatever it is you want it to look like. I do recommend something simple because they can get pretty small on t-shirts. But, you know, you can make it whatever you want. It is a 256 by 256 image for those of you who want to get a head start. And in order to have it show up in the game, you actually put it into a certain folder on your drive, and the game will go ahead and upload it. When Kendall goes ahead and hits continue and confirm, you'll notice there's no like a progress bar or anything, but he doesn't have the crest right away. That is actually the game uploading that image onto our servers so that everyone else can also see it.
So I now have my Crest ink bottle, and as you can see in the top left of that image, it's got a little preview of the crest that you're going to be using. And so once you have this, you actually create stamps using memory ink, which is purchasable just from regular merchants in the game. And I now have a stamp, which once I take off my cloak, I should be able to apply.
Now, one interesting thing to note is that the items don't show that you have a crest applied to them. So you may want to keep track of that.
And now I have my guild or mercenary group or even, you know, farming, whatever group you want to be, or just an independent art, you can have that on your cloak or your sails or anything.
Mm-hmm. These are limited to squares. The image has to be a square, but you can have transparent sections of it. So if you want, for instance, to show just the image that I have on my shirt just has the transparent ArcheAge. If you want it to show just an image on top of whatever the texture is on the background, you can do that, or you can set the background altogether.
So someone asked, can others use that image as well? They could try and duplicate it, or because you have the stamp and ink, you could actually make stamps and then mail them to them or have them buy them. So you could make original artwork for cloaks or sails that you could actually sell for in-game money, which would be pretty fun.
Let's see. It is a PNG file, somebody asked me. Images that will be allowed in the game will be appropriate to the rating, and our rating is still pending. So when we know what it is, we'll tell you exactly what those will be.
So it used to be that you could actually dye the Crest shirts. As you can see, Victoria was wearing a Crest shirt earlier.
Sorry,
now they come in a variety of colors, so you just pick the color you already have and you can apply a design to it. You can no longer use a dye on a crested item.
Cool, let's see what we got. Someone will probably put offensive things on cloaks or ships or whatever, and if they're bad enough, we will remove them. There is not a preview image before you apply the image itself, but if you want to open up your inventory and hover over your crest ink. So the interesting thing is you can see, you may not be able to see it too well on the stream, but right next to the icon, or in the icon for the crest ink, is the actual picture of what that ink is for. The same goes on to the, now I've forgotten what they call, the pieces that you make, the brainstorm?
Stamps.
The stamps. They're also on the stamps. So you can have 3 or 4 different images, and the stamps will show you what exactly that image is, so you can keep track of it. We have a few running around on Alpha from folks who have managed to obtain
Crest stamps.
Crest stamps.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Crest brainstormings.
Crest brainstormings. So this is something that we are going to be, it will be coming. We will be making it available, or not currently available.
All right, so do you want to do the ships next?
Yeah, why don't we go ahead?
Excellent. Do I have to find you? You're going to come to me.
I'm not far. You go ahead down to the harbor.
All right.
Or I will hop down to the harbor and I can summon you either way.
All right, we're doing it in the harbor now.
Yeah. So now we're going to go ahead and show you what it looks like when we go ahead and apply these images to a ship. So the sails themselves become whatever the image is. The image is always centered. You can create an image. Again, it is a square image that you upload, so you can put your design anywhere on that square that you would like. And that's actually going to matter, and we'll show you that in a little bit. Which one are you going to do?
I'm going to do the clipper ship.
Okay.
So on the smaller ships, you actually only get that central design. You don't get the pattern behind it. So I'm going to apply the ArcheAge ink stamp to this adventure clipper ship. Oh, I already did. And then I'm going to open it up.
You're going to there we go. There's a pretty ship.
That is it without the crest. Give me just a moment. I've got an invalid target here.
In the meantime, you're taking up too much space apparently for me.
You can't summon your ship.
I can't summon my ship because there's too much stuff in the ocean. Sigh. Swim, swim, swim. So I've got a ship that we had worked on earlier today, and this ship actually has the full sails on them. This is one of the larger end ships. And you can see here, if you can look at it as
there
it
we
comes
go.
in. There we go.
There's the full pattern.
There's the full pattern with the black background. Now the difference between...
I'm being run over.
Sorry. The difference between this ship and those smaller clipper ships is that on the clipper ships, the image just shows in the middle. The background doesn't show.
Right.
So you'll actually see it. There we go.
There we go.
It keeps the texture of the sail, which is kind of fun. So it depends on what it is you're looking for. Keep in mind, if you put a square image that is all image and has no background, you'll have a square on that ship that will be whatever the image is that you decided to place, which will be cool. Someone asked if we can hide helms. Yes, you can hide helms. You can also hide costumes, depending on what you'd like. And now I'm looking for questions here. Are we ready to go?
One final point on these sails, which is interesting because there is a lot of piracy and kind of deception in this game, is there's actually nothing stopping you from, as we said before, using someone else's symbol on your sails. So if you were a pirate that hasn't necessarily turned straight hostile to everyone yet, you could probably get a little closer to your target by having their guild sails on your ship. I'm sure they would hunt you down for doing that, but it is something you can try.
All right, so the other thing that's really cool about the ability to use crests in ArcheAge, and we have a party boat going, lovely, is that you can use them on your own house. So we're going to go ahead and summon Rapscallion over here to a place that, I don't know, turn off your inventory, turn off your UI so they don't know where we are for a moment. And there we go. Let's see how long it lasts. Yours is the one we're next to. That's mine.
Also, I'll need my UI to decorate the house.
Yes, you will. So we've got a couple of houses here that we have put down on one of the higher end zones. And there's nothing in them right now, so we can make sure to show you guys all of the awesomeness that there is for setting it up.
So much like your cloak and your sails, you can apply your crest stamp to a poster that you can then place on the wall and have your symbol on the wall. And there are various sizes and shapes of things that you can apply this symbol to, and you can decorate your house in all sorts of different ways and customize it pretty much as you can make graphics for it.
So one of the cool things, again, there's a lot of cool things. If you want to go ahead and apply it to either the cube or the cylinder.
Sure.
Both a cube and a cylinder are options for applying the images to, but they actually map the image onto them in a certain way. So here we have a the ArcheAge symbol is sort of mapped onto the corners of the cube. So it's kind of going to be fun to see how people play with it. You can actually have something different on every side of the cube depending on how you want it to, how you set up that original image to get it mapped.
Right. This demonstrates the difference between using the same image for two different shapes that you're applying it to. So you'd have to actually customize the shape, the crest you're making, depending on what shape you're putting the image onto.
Which is going to be a lot of fun. And actually, if you want to run over to my house, there's a bunch of other stuff in there. At least there's a couple more different things that we can show off.
So there's the cylinder there.
Yep. So I had a bigger ArcheAge symbol in the piece that I used. And so again, you can see it on the wall in a couple of different spaces. The one that's on my right, yeah, I guess it'd be right if you're looking at it, is it's just a flat panel. So you can actually cover chunks of wall with this panel to give it a different style. In this particular house, you cannot place items on the wall over the wood sections, and each house is a little bit different on exactly where you can place things, which would be kind of neat.
Someone asked about different styles of houses. That's not what we're getting to right now, but yes, there are two continents that each have their own unique style of housing. One's a little bit more European, and one's more the Asian continent.
Somebody asked if we can provide a template. Sure. I don't have an issue with it. It's very easy. It's a 256 by 256 PNG. Go. And yes, you can upload those crest stamps. So you can upload an image and sell the crest stamps if you want on the auction house or to your guildmates. A couple of the folks in Korea, for instance, everyone in their guild has their own crest for the guild. And you know, the guild owner can be the one, or the guild leader can be the one who actually owns the actual ink and hands it out, if you would like. Are there TM restrictions on Crest? Yes, please don't put things that are copyrighted. That's bad. We will take it away. Eastern players can buy Western houses. You can also place houses in different continents. So buy the house you like, put it where you want, which is pretty cool. Actually, if you want to run outside and pull up the menu now, I just want to show them something quickly. This is a slight tag from, or slight jog away from talking about the vanity items. But up in the right-hand section, you'll see it says peaceful period. And so what that is after a zone goes through a period of war, it becomes time for peace. And this is a safe time for folks who do not want to risk getting gacked to be in these zones because they are now all pure PvE zones. It doesn't last that long, so just keep an eye on the timer.
Careful, guys. There's a bit of a current there. You almost lost your pet.
Yes, the rivers have currents. Be careful. Yes, our ArcheAge logo is trademarked and registered. Please don't copy it without, being smart.
Can you find an island out in the open sea and inhabit it? Yes, there are many islands out in the ocean that you can place buildings upon. None of them are claimable like as a kingdom, like you would in the northern continent of Aurora, but you can definitely build there. And you still pay taxes, it's just to a general area as opposed to a certain kingdom.
Cool. Custom, yes, I've said already, custom crests can be made in the game, and you can sell them in game for gold. It's up to you. All right, cool. I think we are pretty much done with the sort of demonstration part of this.
Right.
Was there anything that we missed?
Let's see. Oh, well, one small note. Much like you making a copy of someone else's guild symbol and then flying it to get closer to their ship, there are inherent dangers in just wearing your own guild's crest. In this game, it's kind of an economic warfare game, which means if you're trying to take out a guild or their ability to prevent a siege, you have to take away their economic income. And so you should be targeting ships or people that are wearing their crest on their sails and cloak. So if you're part of a larger guild, there is a danger in wearing those colors if someone's hunting just members of that guild on site, which happens a lot in this game.
Yep. Do you have the plate wearing icon, the buff up? Somebody was asking about how do you know what people are actually wearing?
Right. So if you were concerned that someone was doing the fusion to wear full plate but look like cloth, this buff in the top left will always show whatever percentage they're wearing the most of armor. There's a minor buff, I think it's 3 pieces, and then if it's all of it, you get the full buff. And you can see that even if you're going to fight someone. So before you try and sneak around taking someone out in the PvP zone, make sure you check for what buff they have and what armor they're really wearing.
So someone asked if houses can be destroyed in very, very limited circumstances. If your house... Well, if you fail to pay taxes, the game will destroy your house for you and mail you back all of your stuff. If you are building your house in a castle that is under siege, then your house can be destroyed for the siege. So it's risky to be inside the castle. Space for housing already run out on the servers. No, we are in a housing area. The 2 houses in this space are his and mine.
Right.
We
what
got plenty of
happens
space.
is the safe zones that are protected by whatever continent you started on fill up pretty quickly, and then the PvP zones, because they're inherently dangerous to try and walk around with crafting bundles in, fill up a little slower. So this is on the alpha server. There are thousands of players in this game. For instance, if this wasn't peaceful period, he would be fought right now. But there's very few houses in this housing zone right now, simply because it's a high-level PvP zone.
To build houses, you will need to be a patron. Yes, that is true. You need to be a patron to place a house or a farm, as well as to pay taxes. However, there is going to be the ability for you to obtain patron status using in-game gold. So you'll have an option to buy patron status, sort of like a Plex in EVE, if you're familiar with that game. You can go ahead and buy that in-game from other players and gain the benefits of that without having to spend any of your cash.
Farms in the same area as houses. For the large part, yes. Most zones where you can have a farm, you're also able to build houses. Housing zones in general are good for farming. There are very few areas, particularly in these starting zones, which are just for farms if you own no other property. And that's if the server is very full. That's a place where you have a limited time to build a farm, film what you want to do, and then it's automatically destroyed at the end of the week, and you have to replace. So there's always a chance for someone, as long as you're a patron, to place your farm.
Cool. All right, I think okay, I think we're done. We have now a little bit of chaos going on here, which is always fun and exciting.
This place is going to be quite interesting in an hour and 16 minutes.
We won't be here.
Right.
Most of them probably won't either. All right, I think we're done then for, we will just open it up for general Q&A now, so if folks have just questions, we will let you know. So someone said how much in-game gold will be needed to buy patron status. That is completely dependent upon the people who are selling it. And so the idea is that folks can go ahead and purchase in-game, purchase patron status, and then sell it on the auction house. Depends on how much they want to charge. Whoa, I gotta slow that chat down now. It's fast.
Question, where do we get Crest Brainstorm? My understanding is right now it's only online from the store?
It will be in the store.
Okay.
But keep in mind that once one person has uploaded the image and made a Crest ink, then you can make stamps that are tradable. So only one person has to go ahead and upload that image.
Right, if you're the guild leader, you could be the only one that has the crest ink, and you could still give out the stamps to everyone else. Because the item you use to make the stamps once you have the ink is purchasable for just in-game money.
Yep. Can you trademark your name or logo of a guild? If you want to go through the trademark process, go for it. It's up to you. It's your image. Do what you need. Let's see. When do you get your first boat and mount? So, depending on your race, you'll get your first boat anywhere from level 6 to 16. And your first mount is generally around, is it level, I want to say 8?
Anywhere from 10 to 12 usually. It does vary a little bit, but it's always in the starting zone, and it's always pretty early on in the starting zone.
So if someone was asking about underwater gathering, we're going to do a whole session on underwater stuff and farms and all of the things you can make with all of the underwater stuff.
As we see, some people are discovering just how strong the current is in this river and losing their boat before they can get on it.
Nice, nice. You cannot change the appearance items of gliders except in a couple of instances. And those couple of instances are, there are some specific items which you can apply to existing gliders, but are 1-for-1. So you have to, it's one appearance goes to a certain type of glider, and so you can adapt the glider to that new look. It's purely cosmetic.
Using the fusion system.
No, this is not using the fusion system. Well, actually, it is using the fusion system, but you use the glider customization products, which I don't think you have any on your inventory.
Right. See, Korean voices in the cutscenes. Yes,
Yes.
those will not be in the final version of the game. This is still in the process of being localized.
They will be, so we will have English cutscenes before beta. If someone used a picture made by another person but did not have permission to, can that person take it down, get it taken down? Yes, you will be able to. We respect copyrights.
What is a patron? A patron is someone who pays a subscription. Or in this
Or-
case, someone who has bought a Founder's Pack and is be a patron for a limited amount of time.
There's also the ability, like I mentioned before, to purchase patron status from other folks for in-game gold. So it's a status effect. Think of it like a VIP status almost. And basically what it's going to do, it's going to allow you to go ahead and place property, to pay taxes. You will get a bonus to labor regen and to in-game kill experience. And you'll also get another item called loyalty tokens that you will be able to use to help pay your taxes. And don't worry for the folks who have more taxes because they went for a bigger house than you can buy with the loyalty tokens. You can still go ahead and pay your own taxes in addition to those loyalty tokens. It's not the only way to do it.
Question, I want to be a bounty hunter. Will that mechanic exist in-game? It actually already does.
Well,
If you commit enough crimes, you can become wanted. And if you commit the jury quest line, you can gain a cloak, which allows you to hunt down people who are wanted and get a bounty for doing so.
all right, let's see. Patron status will be available through the store. It will be available in as many places, including in-game, as we can make it available. When peacetime is over and someone attacks you, can you just run into your house to stop the fight? You can run into your house, close the doors, and they can't open the doors to follow you. So yes, you can.
If you successful close your doors
Just be
before they
quick.
followed you in the house. Yes.
You just have to be quick.
Doors aren't renowned for opening and closing very quickly.
No. If you lose patron status, do you lose your house or farm? Yes and no. So you lose the ability to pay taxes. As a result, if you don't pay taxes for 2 weeks, your house will get packed up and mailed to you. We have bombardment from the outside. Lovely.
I've been hit.
So if for some reason you lose your patron status and you're on vacation and you can't renew it immediately, you've got a 2-week leeway to go ahead and regain that status without losing your house. How much space can you take with houses and farms? So the houses that we have up here are the smaller houses. There are some significantly larger houses, but the tax rates go up, I think, pretty much exponentially. And the more homes you have and the more farms you have, the higher those taxes are going to get. So can you take over a housing area? Yes, but it's going to be really expensive. There is roommate functionality. You can have anyone in the game go ahead and share your house. They'll be they're part of your guild or part of your family, and they can use anything that's in your house. They just can't place anything or pick it up. And they can also use your farm. You can also set that as well as the storage chests in your house. Let's see. I'm trying to scan through your. You can feel free to talk.
Looking for questions as well. Sorry. If you have patron status and build a house, what happens to your house the next month without it?
Oh, we just answered that one.
Oh, sorry.
If you don't pay your taxes, you have 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, you lose protection, and the house will eventually go away and get mailed back to you. The house will actually degrade on its own. People will be able to attack it and speed that up. How often do dance parties break out in the background? I would say every live stream. Pretty much.
This is going to be a regular thing, I think.
Yes.
I also expect a land boat pretty much every time.
Someone was trying to get one of their boats up onto the land.
They succeeded.
Oh, they did. There it is. I'm like, where's the boat? Someone was asking about Founders Packs. So all of the items and all of the credits in Founders Packs are going to get reset upon Head Start. So after open beta, we're going to wipe the servers, and then we're going to give everybody back all of their stuff who has purchased it, and then you can get to start with Head Start. Going through, you can have alts on both continents. I have alts on both continents on my own characters. They make great bank storage. Oh, a quick note. Every character on your account shares your labor pool, so it is actually advantageous not to have multiple alts, except they make great storage space. So lovely storage alts.
Question, why are people going to trial for harvesting trees there if they're planted off from someone else's scarecrow? Well, those are still someone else's trees. You could all get along and plant wherever you wanted and not steal from each other, but a lot of people don't like that, like me, and steal from other players. And it's still stealing, it's just not stealing from somewhere that's safe. You can't steal from someone's farm. That doesn't mean it's not stealing when you take someone else's items from not on their farm.
Someone was talking about where you get the cloaks. Cloaks can be crafted or they can be quested currently. So you can craft them and make them, or you can find the right quest and do them. I actually just got a cool new cloak on my play character for doing a quest. It gives me a little bit of regen, which is always handy because I'm always running out of health for some reason.
You do get a cloak when you start the game at a very low level, which gives you a little bit of a speed boost. And then you, I think as you just received, get a cloak around level 30 when you finish the original campaign.
Those are actually going to be changing.
Usually gives you stats. Okay.
Yes. So, sorry. We are currently in the middle of changing a number of items in the game, getting ready for beta. So we occasionally will run into situations where it's like, that's changing. We've already answered the roommate question. Let's see. We've already answered the housing question. Emblema's on other vehicles like cars as well. You know, to be honest, I'm not sure. We could look that up.
To my knowledge right now, it's only sales, but we could look into it.
You will get all of the stuff in the Founders Packs before launch, and then again at launch. We are doing some, just so folks know, we are doing some integration with our store into ArcheAge, with the Tryon store into ArcheAge, to make sure that that is all in place. And once all of that is set up and all of the packs are ready for in the game itself, in the build that we have on Alpha, you'll get your stuff. No guarantees on exactly when that will be, though. Are there any dedicated armor or weapons for PvP? I don't believe so. I think it's all actually just armor and wear it and awesome stats and kill people. And mobs. You can happily kill mobs, too. Being the person that tends to be killed rather than doing the killing myself.
Oh, dang. Sharp turn there, friend.
Ooh, oops. Capsize.
Why?
Someone was asking how long will alpha access be on the Founders Packs? Until we run out of Archean packs to sell. We are going to continue selling the Founders Packs all the way through Head Start, including during Head Start. So if you want to hang on and wait you can, and buy the pack either right before Head Start or during the first couple of days, and you can do whatever makes sense for you. Beta is going to be 3 to 5 day events. I'm not saying weekends because we do want to hold some of them, at least one event during the week for folks who are on weird schedules or work weekends and want to get in and play the game. So, but they're going to be 3 to 5 day events. It's not a 24/7.
You want to check the bottom, make sure of everything?
We've got lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of chat here. All right, so while we are scrolling through all of this fun and exciting chat, let's see if Nightbot is paying attention to us. Wait, I think I saw a Nightbot. Nope, that's somebody's questioning stuff. Someone's asking here, we are making some changes that are different from the Korean release to better fit our audience. Some of the changes that we have already gotten agreement on, for instance, we are adding the Gilda Stars back into trade routes. So for trade routes across the ocean, you will be able to get Gilda Stars or inks. So you can get the dyes that you can currently get, or the pigments, as they will be called, that you can currently get, or Gilda Stars. It's your choice on which one you get. So that's coming back in. And what were the other changes that we have gotten agreement on? Oh, the split for folks who are already aware of it. For instance, if Kendall sells a trade pack that I made, there is a split of the profits. And we have reduced that split, or we have changed that ratio so that it is more in favor of the person who actually turns in the trade pack. And the person who made it gets a much smaller percentage. So we're going to play with that and see how that works out. And, all right, so if I type next, then Nightbot will pay attention to me. This is just a test. I'm trying to see if Nightbot is paying attention. I have to use the right keyboard.
We were having some technical difficulties earlier.
He does not see. Oh, there he is. Yay. All right, it's wintertime. Since Nightbot is back, we are going to try. And let's see.
Yes, sir, on the deer, I see you. It's very nice.
And the winner is Iamos. I probably completely flubbed your name. Someone somewhere in that mess. Guys, you typing winner is not going to help. I promise. All right, I'm going to do one more. We're going to do two more, actually, because we said we're going to give away 3. So let's see. Who is number 2? If I can maybe possibly get the chat to slow down. And the winner is... Oh, man.
Ramirez Montana?
There we go. And the third one... This helps a lot. So you win this by being in the chat and by following us. That's really all it takes. Someone asked if you can place images on the outside of your house. Some of the products will allow you, some of the items will allow you to place them in the yard as well as inside the house. So you can decorate a bit depending on where you want to be. And you have a party.
They're keeping me company, yeah.
Nice. You should at least be dancing around or something. Show off the stuff, because we've got cows doing. And then the last one is.
See if we can
Sophia.
get some lights going.
I love that spelling. That's really cool, actually. All right. Sweet. And we are right at time. Is there anything that you wanted to follow up with?
I think that's the last of it for me.
All right, cool. I think we are done then. And thank you all very much. It was great to talk to you today, and we'll see you again next week.